Hi everybody, Jamie here. Today I'm up showing you an 8.5 by 11 layout. I'm using this pre-made background piece that I have. It's just some modelling paste and I've mixed in some chalk pastels, just this pink one that I'm about to show you. I've just scraped it off with a palette knife, mixed it in, put it straight through the stencil and I let it dry. I had planned it for another layout, but it just worked out with this one. So I'm doing this photo of my mum and me. I'm going to use some Dylusions ink spray, and you can pause it there if you want to see the colour of it. I think it's peony pink. So I'm going to do the packaging technique. So I'm just going to spray the ink onto the sheet of paper, spray a little bit of water over it, and then I also spray a little bit onto the paper and just drop it on. Yep, that's it. Super easy. It's really easy. Just drop it on there, mix it around. I wanted to get kind of little speckles around the outside, which is why you see me moving it around the outside of the page. It doesn't exactly match the colour of the background, but I really like it. I'm using a tissue to dry it off because I was too lazy to go get my paper towel, which was probably only about a metre away from me, but I just was too lazy. I'm just wiping off that plastic so I can reuse it another time. So this is a photo from my cousin's wedding, and it's something that's funny this year. I've been really trying to take photos of me with people in sort of a situation where I never would have taken a photo before. I'm just going through some paper pads from the reject store, picking out colours that match with the background, and I also wanted ones that have copper foil because the letters that I'm going to use are copper. So I wanted something to kind of tie it together. I go through 3 paper pads and I grab a few out. I love that butterfly paper. It is stunning. I really want to keep one and frame it. I know that sounds weird, but it's purple and it's just stunning. I love it so much. So I grab out the little copper dot one and then those words in the background. The very first one I grab out, I don't believe that I use. So I'm going to let this background air dry while I'm just sticking down my paper layers. The first thing I generally do when sticking down paper is I have a full mat on the photo. I'm just trimming the edge off purely so that it fits on the 6x6 paper pad. That's about it. Yeah, so I like to have a full mat around a photo. I think it's a lot sort of gentler on the eye. Sticking it down with some double-sided tape. This double-sided tape is from Kmart. It's really cheap. I've been using it for about a year, but it's really good quality. Haven't had any issues with it. I always tend to use a little bit more than I would use if I was using a higher quality tape, just because you can never be 100% sure. I did stick it down a little bit skewiff, so I had to do a little bit of tricky chopping there with my scissors. I tried to peel it off, but no, it wasn't coming off. So I'm just trimming around the corners. While I do that, let me know down below what's your sort of technique when you're doing paper layers, and also sort of the layouts that you do. 8.5 by 11 is generally the layout size that I'm doing this year because I'm doing a 9 by 12 album. Next year I'm going back to 12 by 12, so I'm hoping to do a lot more 12 by 12. I really miss doing a larger format, and especially since I've been sort of challenging myself to do multiple photos. I know this isn't a multiple photo layer, but I've been challenging myself this year to do multiple photos, and I'm kind of wanting to do that on 12 by 12 now because I don't think I've ever done a multiple photo layout on a 12 by 12 before. I'm still sticking and going. This purple one, I didn't have the intention to give it a ripped edge, but I sort of wanted a more distressed element, so I just rip it off. Just the top, it's really easy to rip, and it sort of adds a different textural element, which I have a lot of textural elements in this. I have the mixed media, I have the ripped edged, I have glitter, I have splatters, and then I just stick this copper one on there, and that's pretty much how I do it. So I'm going to stick it down with some glue. I use wet glue when I'm sticking onto mixed media. It's a lot stronger and sturdier. This glue was really hard to get out of the bottle, and I don't know why it was so hard to get out today. So it does take me a while, but I do recommend using a lot of wet glue when you're using mixed media because double-sided tape just doesn't even stick it. As you can see, I flipped the whole layout around. I thought the formation would look a lot nicer, and I put the photo just sort of skew of the center because I don't like the way layouts look very dead center. I love other people doing it, but just when I do it, I don't like it. And so I'm just grabbing my 1-inch circle punch and cutting out a few of the little butterflies to make little epoxy little stickers out of. I grab a sheet of epoxy dots from my stash and just stick them on. I think I'll show you how I do it. It's really easy and it's the quickest way to make a really quick embellishment. And there we go, done. 2 embellishments made. I'm just sticking them on there. I do pop them up to the camera to show you guys what they look like. They look really cute. So now I'm going to start with the embellishing, and this part, for this layout, I start off feeling really tricky, and I don't know why it was so hard for me to kind of pick what I wanted to use. I grab a couple of videos. I grab a couple of packs of embellishments out of my stash, so I'm going through this one, just grabbing out a few of whatever I think will match. I don't end up using any of these ones that I grab out. So while I'm just sorting through these, because I do sort them out for a while, let me know down below how you're liking the video so far. I'd love some feedback on what you guys are thinking, and little shameless plug. If you want to get any sneak peeks of upcoming videos, go follow me on my Instagram, Jaymithescrapper. I'm still sorting through these ones. I think I do use this embellishment pack, but I don't use any of the ones that I've grabbed out now. Just sorting them out. This process is sort of the part that takes the longest when doing scrapbook layouts. Some people, I think, can just sort of know exactly what embellishments they want to use straight away. For me, I like to sort through a pack, grab it out, place it on there, see how it looks, and then take it away. I really wanted to put that butterfly on there, but it just wasn't going with the colour scheme. I'm still sorting through everything. I sort for a while. I go through, I don't know why I grabbed so many ephemera packs to go through. I should have just stuck with the ephemera pack that matched the paper that I grabbed. I don't always go with the embellishment pack that goes with the paper pack, but if I can, why not? I tried, my first thought was just to do a big splash of flowers in the corner. And I really wanted to also do something in the top right corner, just because I thought it looked a bit empty, because I have, you know, the mixed media up the top left, the mixed media at the bottom right, an embellishment cluster on the bottom left, and the top right was looking super blank, and it just needed something there. What am I doing now? I can't see. I think I'm still sorting through, and from a pack, another one. That one, I think, says I love you the most, and I did want to make it work, but unfortunately it doesn't go on there. While I'm still sorting out all these embellishments, let me know down below what sort of videos you're looking for. I would love some feedback. I post videos every Saturday at about 8:30 a.m. Brisbane time. This is where I'm starting to stick everything down. So I'm using some double-sided tape to stick this photo down. I pop up the photo a little bit to kind of have it underneath it, because I did want the photo to be front and center. Then I'm just sticking and ponking. I started to get a little overwhelmed with how many embellishments I had, and I just thought, you know what, stick it down, don't worry about it. And in the end, it looks great. I love it. It's probably one of my favorite layouts I've done for a while. I'm sticking down these leaves on here. Then I believe I grab another leaf that I stick down. I also stick down the little ruler that I put up the top. I kind of liked the ruler because it gave another paper layer, and you don't actually know it's an embellishment. It kind of looks like a paper layer. So I am about to go and grab the alphas. Now these alphas are stunning. They're from the Reject store, my favourite store apparently. They are copper and they're glitter, and so the title I go for is Enjoying Life, and I had this title picked out for a while because I was initially doing with another set of alphas, but I bought these ones and just thought they're just too gorgeous. I need to use them now. So I'm enjoying life. They're copper, they're glitter, they're foam, they're not really thick, which is something I'm trying to use a lot recently, because my albums are just getting too thick because I use such thick embellishments. So I use this clear piece of paper to make sure everything's lined up straight. I saw this on a video maybe 2 years ago. I don't remember who it was, unfortunately. But yeah, she just stick to the alphas on a clear sheet of paper to line it up. And I've been doing it ever since. It makes you able to put it all down at once when they're separate letters. It's so much easier. So I'm just putting life on there And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to glue them down with some wet glue because they're on the mixed media. It makes them stick a lot better. And because they're not as good as stickers, I really wanted them to be perfectly stuck down. So I've just come back, I've stuck them down, and this is where I go sticking crazy. I'm just sticking everything down with wet glue. I start grabbing a whole bunch of stuff and just popping it in. I do flip that around, put that little tab on there, sticking and plonking. I really liked that little epoxy one, and I really wanted that butterfly on there. So what I've done is I've kind of folded it in the middle to kind of give it a little dimension, and I also only put some wet glue down the center. It gives a really nice dimension. That's a little copper heart that goes with the alpha set, and I try to make that arrow go in so many places. I move it around 1,000 times. A tip I find with titles is, for me, if I'm feeling the layout isn't going the direction I want, I put the title on to sort of see how it's going, because you can see now I just go for it. The title's on and I go for it. I just end up sticking the little heart there. I just stick it down with my finger. That one was directly on paper, so I wasn't too worried that it wasn't going to stick. I do put a few hearts. They actually kind of look exactly the same colour as the mixed media there, but they're not. They're very different, and it was standing out a little bit too much for me. So I stick a few hearts down, and then I also grab some little epoxy stars, and I mix them in there just to kind of give a different element to the mixed media, and I think it looks really cool. They actually do match perfectly with the colour of it. I stick them down. I just stick them down on themselves. They stick to anything. They do not come off. So what I'm doing here is I'm getting some little stickers. It spells out I love you, and I'm using some black ink. If I had probably a brown ink, I probably would have used it, or maybe even a gold ink, but all I have is black. So I just thought, you know what, I haven't done this technique in a long time, so what it is you just stamp it down. I think it's called ghosting. You stamp it down and then you stamp sort of a half inked version of it directly underneath it. So I'm just checking on a spare sheet of paper that it's lined up perfectly straight. So here we go, I stamp a full one and then I stamp a half blank one, and I do the exact same thing down the bottom. So I think it's called ghosting. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, if I had a different coloured one. So I'm just flipping that around to cut off a little excess piece of that flower on the side. I'm grabbing out my wood veneer pieces out of my wood veneer box. I just stick it down the first place I see. That little heart has the word love on it, and I just stick it up the top there. Then I'm going to grab my most prized possession, my box of resin flowers. I love this thing so much. I bought resin flowers. I kind of went on a resin flower craze maybe about 1.5 years ago, and I don't think it'll ever run out. I'm just sorting through sort of the coral and pink variety. I don't use those bows, they're just getting out of the way. Then I also grabbed some white ones out because I thought white would look kind of nice, because I'm kind of trying to make this sort of a very breezy layout, because it's the start of spring. This was actually the very first day of spring, this photo, and I really wanted to go with a springy, airy, light sort of fresh layout. So I do put a couple of them on. I don't put all of the ones that I grabbed out on. I moved that little daisy one around so many times, but it doesn't end up getting on there. I think I just put 3 on and I just stick them down straight away. And here I am putting a bit of Heidi Shine on. I believe it's called Blush, but you can pause it just to check it out. Shake it a lot. I know everyone says that, but you need to shake it. It was really hard to get this one to get off with doing the splatters, and I don't know why. It's never normally that hard. So I am trying to cover the photo with my hand a little bit because I do not like it going on the photo, but luckily it's a lot easier to get off because these photos are so glossy. You can just wipe it straight off with your finger. And I think this is the end of the layout, guys. Coming on to the end of the video. Ooh, I did knock a little bit of glue on my eye that I need to wipe off. I'm also grabbing some tiny word stickers because I forgot about tiny word stickers. I put them down the bottom, but they don't end up staying there. I don't like the way it looks, so I peel them off and I put them right at the top on top of the butterfly paper. I do like the way it looks now. Here we are. This, once we pick that one up, I do move it around, try and put it in a few places, and it goes just above the other one. here we are at the very end of the layout. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did. Leave a comment below if you have any questions or just want to, give me a little bit of love. I'll have some photos at the end for you guys. I hope you enjoyed my latest process video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.